the solution might not be a shooter. On the trade market right now, buyout market, whatever you want to look at, who are your favorite guys out there? Is it Harrison Barnes? Is it a bigger thing like Nikola Jokic? Who are the guys you're eyeing as the trade deadline approaches?
So it's my answer to this is always kind of funny because it's something like, as you guys could probably imagine, in the post game show that I do after the games, everyone's always like, who are they going to target? Who are they going to target? And my answer from then, and I can give a couple specific names, but honestly, is every name that gets brought up, I'm like, yeah, like why not? Why wouldn't we take a guy like that? It's really like I'm not picky. Any of the names that are out there, I'm like, yeah, give me them. But one of the interesting things that I think I've talked about before was going after teams that seem like they're in turmoil right now. I'm not breaking news. Like I think everyone's thought of that, but going after some of these guys in like Houston, you have Ben McLemore, Danuel House, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon. I think all of those guys, you wouldn't, not just one of them, but, a group of those guys could come in and help this team out. You have guys like Terrence Ross, who I think would be a really, really good piece here. So to me, I don't think the Celtics or I'm not going to say use the TPE because they would have to probably cut into it for some of this, but I don't think they go out and get the one superstar and say, okay, you know what, our problems are already solved. This team already has its top tier players, its superstars. Would I take a Harrison Barnes and go to sleep with a smile on my face at night? Yeah, obviously. Would I take a Vucevic? Obviously. But do I think that, this team gets immediately better with adding 2 or 3 guys instead of one guy? That's where I start to differ from most people because I think, yes, it's more of a quantity over the one quality to me, because I think that as much as people want to root for them, I think having to rely on guys like Semi Ojeleye, even Jeff Teague now, or Grant Williams, all these guys coming off the bench that are playing like crucial minutes, I think there's better options out there. And again, I'm putting a lot of weight into Kemba and the Jays because I think that's where our top is. We don't need another top tier player. But I really just want to beef up the middle to bottom part of the roster. And I think that's an easier ask, but I feel like everyone's focusing on big names.
Yeah, I agree. That's actually a great point. And like you say, no one talks about that. And it should be talked about more often because the main issue to me is depth. And I mentioned earlier in the show we were talking about Brooklyn. It is a serious thing you need to worry about. You need reliable guys. And the Celtics don't have that. They have guys that are good every once in a while. And we don't really know how reliable they are because Jack will tell about the bench shooting stats, how they're extremely high. Maybe the ball isn't moving enough, which it hadn't been. Recently it has been, and they've been winning games. Guys are making shots, scoring off the bench. Was it Toronto or LA where they had like everyone in double figures?
I think that was Toronto where they had like 4 bench guys in double figures.
Yeah, Pritchard is pretty reliable to me. He's very confident, which is huge for a rookie. I think Grant's reliable shooting. Not that I want to run plays for him. Shemi has been hot and cold. Teague has even been better. Maybe he's upping his trade value.
Crazy.
I'm ecstatic. So, yeah, I think improving the depth is a huge deal. And if it doesn't happen, it might not be the end of the world, though, because of how efficient the bench has been. And maybe if they're utilized more, we'll see how efficient they can be.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite guys right now is Otto Porter in Chicago. Rumors he's going to get bought out. And if not, they're probably going to sell him for cheap. You throw a first-round pick, maybe a first and a second, even a young guy at Chicago, I think they bite on that immediately. It would take a big chunk of the TPE at that point, so I would probably wait for him to hit that buyout market in favor of that, and then you cut one of the younger guys. But Otto Porter shooting 40% from 3 this year. He would be the perfect guy to bring off the bench. Celtics have almost no wing depth except for the supposed return of Romeo Langford sometime in the distant future, whoever knows when that's going to be. And we can talk about that briefly in a second. But Otto Porter is one of my favorite guys. I really like the Houston fire sale idea, getting Danuel House, PJ Tucker, maybe he's a little older. Ben McLemore, I really like. I like that team, taking their assets for the Celtics. And then the Magic, obviously, too. Evan Fournier is not bad, but he does make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Terrence Ross is solid. So I like those ideas the most. Even Michael Carter-Williams, who I know I don't think Sam likes as much, but I'm a fan of him.
It's a Boston guy. Of course I would want him.
There you go.
Well, you should always have a local guy on the team. He's got the heart. He grew up a fan. He wants to win more than anybody.
I wanted your thoughts on Nikola Vucevic in particular, because that is the big name being thrown around everywhere. I feel like everyone.
After this, I got something. But
yeah, I got you. I feel like everybody wants him or hates him because, the defense isn't great, but the offense is so amazing. But then there's that high price tag. Do you have any like specific thoughts on it? Or are you just kind of like, eh?
No, he probably is out of like the big names. If they were to land a big name, I think he's probably at the top or towards the top of my list. I think he's a big man that can play big, but the thing that everyone complains about, oh, they need a guy to stretch the floor. That's why Semi and Grant are so good on this team. Vucevic can also step outside and stretch the floor when he needs to. I think he would be amazing to this team. Again, it's weird that I say that because I don't think that the big men is this team's problem. But at the same time, I do think that he is, he's starting to be not overrated because he's been playing so well. But I think he is, underrated. I think he is one of the more underrated guys out there. I think if he were to come on to like a winning basketball team like this, he would be ridiculous here. So I really like him, and I know the defense. Everyone talks about that type of thing. That's like people that don't understand that if you're going to trade for anybody in this league, you're not going to get a guy that doesn't have he's good at this. But like everyone has that but, and then what's after it? It's no one's a perfect player unless you're out there trading for, a LeBron James or something like that. Like you're going to get a guy that does something really, really well, but then there might be drawbacks. And I've always said this for years now. One of the things that a Brad Stevens defense, especially anchored by Marcus Smart, does is it's a team defense more than a lot of other teams play. And I think that they can cover up some of the defensive lapses that some players may have. So Vucevic, I'm really high on. Is it like we got to go balls to the wall to go and get him because the price, like you said, Jack, it's going to be high. I don't think they need to jump through hoops and ladders to get him. But if they got Vucevic, he's probably the out of all the big names being mentioned, that's the one that I'd be the highest on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you with the team defense thing. Brad Stevens is an excellent defensive coach. It's really been his calling card throughout the time he's been here. That along with getting the most out of his guys, which people seem to forget about now. But like before, like Tatum was a star. I mean, even that first run, I guess he's getting the most out of his guys when they didn't have Kyrie or Hayward. But I mean, Isaiah Thomas, that team, like he was getting the most out of everybody, and that's why they were able to succeed. As far as Vucevic goes, I like it. I mean, what's the price? That's always my big question. Jack will tell you. I don't like giving up things at all.
I'm getting that. I'm getting that vibe. Yeah, I feel like
very
based
cheap
on this,
Sam
and when I tune into the pregame show, I think there's a strong Sam, loves the Dollar Tree store type thing.
The Dollar Tree.
Taco, come on, Taco.